Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. My name is David Zhao, and I am Managing Director of Coda Strategy. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Hong Gao, the Executive Director of Enterprise Data at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Thank you, David. Very excited to speak with you today.
How do you actually use your team to drive business results? And by that, I mean specifically, how are you working with your counterparts in different lines of business to capitalize on the data capabilities that you're building at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance?
You are asking a core questions for me, which is my recent, for quite some time, is one of the focus for me. Is I am a firm believer on data ROI. I think that's essentially your question is where's the value you can give back for the executives to buy in? Okay, this is an important function for this company, right? I think that's what your essentially your question. So in my thoughts, in my idea, the data unit should not only be viewed as a cost center, right? Every time you budget time, these are our cost center, budget center. But to me, how we make data as a revenue unit. So for people to realize that, it requires us, data professionals, to think more on what are the business value that we can and we have brought to the company, quantitatively and qualitatively. So here at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, my team, as you said, is how you work with your business partners to drive that. So we closely work with our live business partners. We learn and gain in-depth understanding of what they do, what they need, how to help them do their work faster and easier. For example, build the data case into the project initiation process. Engage business area leads from revenue generating, cost saving perspectives to analyze their needs for the data. A lot of time, it really comes down to put on some parameters, variables for the calculation, whether it's human capital, tool consolidation, or business growth estimation, based on not just a wide guess, but based on what you have seen on approval concept studies. So business value for data to be essential to a company called data-driven company, the value has to be seen upfront, which in your point, quantified.
Got it. And now, with as much as the data landscape is moving, we know at the end of the day, no one can know everything and keep up to date with every single trend in what's happening in the world of data. And so what we see is a lot of people want help, but they struggle to even ask, how do I ask for help? In your experience, what advice would you have for how to use external firms like a consulting firm to help you build on both your data strategy and on data implementation projects to achieve those business results that you just described?
Sure. To me, as you said, nobody knows everything. It's a constant evolving industry, which I love. And collaboration with industry expertise, leveraging what has been done in other places, effective ways. These are all great assets can help us advance and drive continuous improvement. So I'm always encouraged to have conversations with vendors, with consulting firms, exchanging ideas, seek win-win opportunities. But as you said, what do you look for? To engage consulting firms, third-party entities, there are several areas I will consider and I will evaluate. So first is resource and expertise. when there's an initiative, when there's a need, when there's an area that we can help our business further growth, I always assess, do I have readily available expertise on my team or within the organization? If not, that's the time that I will consider and will engage the consulting firm. Urgency and timeline. How soon our initiative needs to be delivered and accomplished? What's the importance and the priority of this to our company? If it's right now, has to be done in this short time frame, well, we may not have that many people readily available. That's the time you engage. The third is approach. Now, even I have the resource, I have enough time. Internally, is it best or is a better time to have an external opinion for decision consideration to convince our business or even the leadership? So that's a great time to leverage the experts, industry experts. Of course, budget and the cost. That goes without saying. Can we afford? Is this in the budget? Or is there other budget available or can be leveraged? Mm-hmm. So those are the 4 points that I would consider engage.
Got it. And it's great that you have, a really defined set of criteria when you're looking ultimately, to spend your precious budget dollars. Now, yes. Driving a little bit deeper there, every situation's going to be unique, of course. Mm-hmm. And, you talk about external opinions. There's going to be no shortage of external opinions. So to that point, how do you decide when is it better to bring in someone like an independent expert or an independent consulting firm versus something that you said we probably should get a larger consulting firm like a Big Four or like a global systems integrator? How do you navigate that decision between go with a big brand versus go with an independent expert?
There are some advantage or disadvantage for both. So when I look at this, that's a great question. You talk about the Big Four or giant three, right? Whether it is a niche player. So for the biggies, I call these Big Four or giant three, they are biggies. The advantage is they have wealthy experience. They have dedicated practices. And they have more resource to leverage, and particular for large implementations. So that's an advantage. On the independent side, the advantage is they have well-defined specialty. They do very well in particular areas. So engage them. I look at cost. I look at what I'm trying to get out of. Engage independent consulting. They do very well. Their benchmark, their specialty is definitely I would evaluate before I will go. Or the familiarity even becomes critical. How do I familiar with them? The benchmark, the past experience, and the resource even we know or reference that become important. And the maintenance, I also look at the maintenance. Once you engage with the Big Four, giant three, these maintenance costs, you really have to jog down these numbers, right? So cautious, as I said, we're a mid-sized company. I'm very cautious about spending. I have worked for the government before, worked for the Fortune 100 or 500 company before. That might be a different landscape.
Right.
But we have to be very cautious on those things. So really, you look at this, the independent firm, consulting firm, is the things you look at, is this their specialty? And do they available right now to help you out? Versus a general wealthy experience and strategy purpose.
Got it. Got it. So yeah, I guess when you're looking at the larger firms, it's really who am I getting from your firm?
right?
But we know we're getting the brand name. With an independent, they're harder to find and they might not be available, but you know you're going to get an expert if that person is
If
available.
that person is. And also the large firm, right? If you look at the large implementation, and if there is a glitch happen, they will be able to pull resources. So the size, those things take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a certain security, right, in the
Yeah,
larger firms.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think that was all the time we have today. Thank you again, Hong. I think Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is lucky to have such a smart and capable leader as yourself.
Thank you. It was fun. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And for those watching, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Again, my name is David Zhao. I'm Managing Director of Coda Strategy, and this has been part of the CDO Magazine interview series.